Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys are just joining us, this is the Oceanic Pro League, Australia's local league, as well as we are tied up for the final series of this week. Abyss taking on Sin. It's tied at 1-1, and that was a interesting game number 2, Spawn.
Yeah, Bizarro Land. I mean, we've got the Galio support. Why? And people were like, why can't we get on board with the support? And it's not that you can't get on board with Galio as support. It's that he does, like, other areas of the map so much better, in my opinion. I mean, we see it played a lot in the LCK, where it has very few ganks. It has access to the whole map in that regard. So, of course, that tweet was in from Archangel. And, you know, in the top lane, when it gets the right matchup, tank versus tank, it just outscales a lot of things. So I certainly don't think it is a bad support. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that when you are shoving it into the support position, it's probably, you know, not the tier 1, definitely. Maybe it's equal as top lane now since the nerfs have come in. I just think that, you know, better suited as that mid lane champion.
And it was a lot of people I walked past coming back down here were saying it was a very cheese draft coming out from Abyss there. Throwing the Galio support in the last pick rotation. Picking Kennen in the top lane for Pabu despite the nerfs to AD Kennen. He did play well on the top side of the map. Now the question is, Sin, we already mentioned, they want to be a top 4 team in the OPL. They can't drop games like this to Abyss, a team who has dropped a game to the 8th place team in the OPL on Regicide. Abyss, on the other hand, they're very vocal about doing the exact same thing. So now they have to show that last game wasn't just a fluke, it wasn't just a cheese. They need to come back strong and actually take down Sin with a very decisive victory here to prove just that.
And they haven't changed their bans, which is really confusing me because we've already said it a little bit. You know, they've got Syndra and Orianna, which I think you can let through. Zac as well has shown that, you know, it's a great jungler, but there are also things on this patch that, you know, are good in that position as well.
As Cyclone has found out, Juves doesn't play it.
I don't know if that's true. I mean, obviously Juves doesn't like playing it, but I think if he put a couple of hours into the champion, he would be able to figure it out.
Hit the gym, lift some weights with Zac, see how it goes. But Galio is the first pick for Sin. Abyss respond with Rek'Sai. We'll see what their next
Interesting, because they actually had a great Gragas game. So I'm not sure whether, you know, Doppler had Gragas in game 1, was able to solo kill Pabu. Game 2, they pick up Gragas on the side of Abyss, give it over to Seb. He has a terrific performance. I'm not sure about this priority on Rek'Sai.
Let's see. Xayah seems to be the next pick coming out for Raid. Had a great game with Jhin, and Jhin was the champion that he almost was able to pretty much single-handedly take down the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't quite work out.
Kalista Rakan is available right now out of Sin. You don't really want to give over Xayah Rakan because of how well they interact with each other in the laning phase.
Grom is open as well. But Sin decided to pick up Gragas instead.
I mean, maybe you just go Gragas Rakan, but then there's a potential that Kalista gets banned away in this second round of draft. So, interesting pickups here. So, once again, that is either going to be a mid lane or a top lane. Or jungle?
Support?
No, it's not support. Rakan has to go down into the support.
I mean, come on. Rakan mid lane. Let's go.
Rakan sucks as mid laner.
You would know.
Well, no, I'm just looking at his numbers and thinking he does no damage. So
well, any champion with Lichbane Landry's does damage. Know what you're talking about. Braum is the final pick coming out from Abyss to pair with Xayah. And heading to the second ban phase. We should see a Kalista ban here.
Certainly should. I mean, you don't want to give over the Kalista Rakan lane. Being able to throw him in means that he doesn't really have to flash to get the quickness off.
FBI is a very versatile AD carry though. In fact, coming into the split, the biggest criticism for him was he couldn't play Xayah. He's completely changed that around. He can play it perfectly fine now.
Yep.
But he can pick up picks like Jhin. He has Varus up his sleeve as well. Always comfortable to go back towards the Ashe if he needs to play more utility. So far though, Abyss happy to ban out top laners with Gnar being the first. Fiora was the first ban from Sin. If Kalista's not banned here, you'd expect another top lane ban thrown their way.
And I wonder what Pabu is going to play because he's already had pretty good success over on that AD Kennen. I wasn't a fan of it, but he certainly turned it around. They ban away the Kalista.
And we know that Luch is comfortable picking Control Mage blind.
Yeah,
he's done it.
Blind Victor here.
So blind Victor into counter matchup for Pabu would be good.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Victor. I'm certainly not a proponent of blind picking that champion, but Luch has shown that he's incredibly comfortable on it, and if they're not going to force him away from it, he's already played one of the hardest counters that existed in the LPL, which was the Kassadin matchup, but it is going to be Pabu taking the Renekton.
Yeah, so giving the counter pick for Luch.
Makes sense.
I mean, Kassadin is still available, so you can get both sides of the counter matchup if he needs to. FBI reverts back to his Varus play. A lot of magic damage coming out from Sin so far. Waiting to see what either their top lane or mid lane pick is going to be. And that kind of makes sense as to why they've kind of hidden their mid lane pick, because it's actually going to be a Galio mid now with Jax top.
Yep.
Already talked about this since the changes to Counter-Strike. Renekton doesn't do as well in the matchup anymore, and it's always been the matchup that Jax scales terrifically into.
Yep. That was before, you know, Renekton had any viable scaling builds himself. Now he's got Black Cleaver, Titanic Hydra into the, you know, defensive item, most commonly Gargoyle Stoneplate. And that's a good pickup, in my opinion, by Luch, because when you give over Galio, you generally give, you know, a free-ish farm mid lane. Generally, we don't see Galios launching onto people level 2 and chunking them out of the lane, Fish.
Yeah, I think we saw one of those today, though.
We saw one of them today. I don't know how it happened.
Generally, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. I'm going to, you know, Abyss fans out there, they hate me because I can their draft game too. They're going to win. I'm going to really approve of their draft this game, and we'll see what happens on Summoner's Rift. But I think they've got pressure in the lanes that they need to.
They've got 3 brawlers up front with Renekton, Rek'Sai, and Vladimir, who deal a decent amount of damage but are very tanky in their own right, with Xayah hyper carry in the bottom lane.
And I think that, you know, FBI is going to be a tough man to defend because Vlad's going to go under all of that crowd control and look to blow him up in the latter stages of the game.
And I'm really excited to see Dockler on this Jax. We haven't seen him be a big split put Thresh. We have seen him on champions like Jason, like Renekton, but he's grouped up more often than not for Sin, adding utility to their bottom lane and mid lane focus. But now he's got a pure split pusher. It's time to really flex those muscles that we saw Flares have when he joined Sin. Dockler's got a chance to prove himself.
Yeah, exactly right. And this is exciting because I think that Juve should gank for his lane here. I think they should try and set him up for success. And you're exactly right. I mean, when you have a look at the 4-man units, there's not a ton of damage that comes out of Sin Gaming. I mean, Varus scales pretty well into late game. But I think that the way they win this is through really good 1-4 and being able to beat them around the map. Maybe even throwing up, you know, try and draw Luch away from FBI and keep him in a side lane for majority of the game. So I think that this is a game that finally Dockler has to be able to try and explode into the OPL. He's had some good games so far. He's picked up some solo kills, but he hasn't really had that I carried this game from start to finish kind of thing.
Yeah, he picked up a solo kill in game number 1 of this series. The last game, unfortunately, Juves entered into his lane very early on underneath the turret. Didn't help him out in a counter matchup. We'll have to see how he performs heading into game number 3. Sin Gaming taking on Abyss. Currently tied up 1-1, so it's for the final point here today.
And this is a big game because Sin are back from Rift Rivals where they are able to win, you know, 3 of their 5 games. They dropped a game against a 3rd place LJL team. And they were able to, you know, go head-to-head for a little bit against the Marines before dropping that game as well. But apart from that, they were able to take it to Mineski a couple of times and Ascension. And I think coming back and losing against Abyss would be a critical failure for this team.
Would be. I mean, we already said on the desk for Rift Rivals when Sin dropped their game against Unsold Stop, the 3rd seed team from the LJL, that had to be the biggest learning point. Immediately afterward, the interviews with Juves, he knew that his team made a big mistake. He knew exactly what that mistake was. And the first 2 matches in the very next day against Mineski and Ascension cleaned up the play completely. And they look like they're going to carry through that form in game number 1. Game 2 was a completely different story today, though.
All right, I'm going to ask the question. I mean, one of the pro players, let me know, why is everyone playing stupid Suit Galio? I don't understand it. This is the, you know, 3rd one I think we've seen
Suit
now.
Galio.
I really don't like Debonair Galio. I liked it when, you know, there was the skinergy going on, but that is a real strange skin.
Lucha.
Takes a turret shot.
Goodness sake. This is why Galios are getting level 2 cheeses off in our league.
Ooh, Dockler.
Yeah, actually Counter-Strike's a single auto attack, so we'll get extra damage from that and reduce damage from Pavo. Still wailing away at him, forcing him to burn his potion so early. Dockler does the same with the Corrupting Pot for damage.
For damage, yeah. He did it for damage, not for anything else. I mean, that is a fantastic trade coming out of Dockler at this stage of the game. Pabu still gets 2 of the creeps, but now he's zoned away from the rest of it.
Yep.
Of course, with Shield, we'll be able to reapproach. Get some good health back there off the trade.
And the problem is, one of Renekton's strongest strengths in the lane is his auto attack reset from W. You can't do that against Jax. So his Counter-Strike comes up and everything you just did is wasted.
Completely nullifies the trade. You're exactly right, Fish. I will be interested to see, you know, if a gank can influence this game lane a little bit more into Renekton's favor because he's taken the experience Quint and he's looking for the cheese.
Seb's actually going for that gank. Will he flash? That's a flash from Pabu and an instant flash away by Dockler. Very disciplined.
Yeah, it certainly is. Pabu had the W on as well, so the flash needed to be perfect. It looked like Seb burrowed into the wall, however, which slows your travel speed. into that. But you can see that now Pabu has the creeps on his side and will go for a bit of a trade.
Good use of the counter-strike by Doppler, though, after the first slice, so Pabu can't do anything about that unless he wants to give away his rage buff. Trying to deny this cannon minion, but didn't do it good enough.
Yep, cannon still goes across. They're both level 3 now. Oh, good trade.
But Pabu does have a good advantage here, though, because Doppler, he's run out of crafting pots. He's up against a Doran shield, but now...
And now he doesn't have Counter-Strike, and all of a sudden you can see that the Rek'Sai is V-lining back to that top lane.
That's brutal.
Pabu's like, it's down.
Yeah, Doppler had a few early good trains, now that was bad.
But at the same time, this is going to hit the turret. You can see that Doppler actually wants a recall off the back of it, Fish. So really not liking the way that this lane is going after what was a fantastic level 1 trade. Pabu probably needs to be a little bit careful. Yep. And we'll see whether he's able to continue any form of aggression or whether now Pabu just takes the free back as this wave hits the turret.
Potentially. I like the discipline as well as safe play from Doppler. Nothing too risky, nothing too greedy. Make sure he stays in this one. Mid lane's going to be a farm fest between Luch as well as Ryoma.
Luch is winning.
Stupid suit Galio. Whenever I see a Debonair skin, I just think of Razzleplasm.
Really?
I just think, yep, that's how Razzleplasm looks, no matter what champion it is. It could be Lucian, could be Ezreal, could be Galio. I said, that's a Razzleplasm.
They all dress that way, you reckon?
Oh boy, it's just Razz's dress style.
He is a very flamboyant man when he steps onto the analyst desk. You were correct.
Well, Juice is looking to see if he can have some impact in the bottom lane. He's just standing in the middle of the river.
Raid and Rosie have once again fallen behind 10 CS
Yes.
at 4 minutes. When you only have 20 CS, Fish, falling behind 10 is a pretty big deal. And somehow they've managed to do it in, I think, 3 games in a row.
FBI and Rogue have really stepped up to be contenders for a great bottom lane.
Juice is standing still, so Seb might think he can get under this wall.
That is incredibly smart.
See whether he goes for it. No, they call it off, and now you'll run into the Juves.
Oh, body buffs him. We'll get the body buff off eventually. Good damage.
Imagine if he had Thunderlords.
But smart play from Juves, and Ryoma gets a taunt out of the Sanguine Pool from Luch.
Has burned his TP and is back in lane with a couple of rings and a corrupting potion, so makes sense. Doppler, big creep wave here. And Pabu is going to freeze that one up, it looks like. And unfortunately for Doppler, oh, no, he's not. He's just going to clear it all out. No.
No, he will walk into the brush, I believe, eventually.
Yeah. So no TP available right now for Doppler, so he is in some big trouble, Fish.
Pabu actually clears that one out, so he'll be able to get a good shove here. Wanted to cancel that, didn't get to do so. It is a cannon wave, so if Doppler's fast enough, you'll be able to salvage some of this minion wave at least.
Yep, this is also a cannon wave that they're being completely zoned away from bottom lane. 22 CS.
It's a level advantage as well for FBI, and this could be first brick.
Mate, this is every advantage. I have no idea how Raid and Rosie have fallen behind this far. I mean, sure, ranged versus melee support matchup, but FBI and Rogue are just looking intimidating. This is a 6-minute first brick.
I mean, Ejim smoked.
Oh, and look at this. FBI says, Jubes, get out of there.
Takes all the gold for himself. First brick falls to Cinder now. 1,000 gold up. Ejim was very vocal after Origin about how he, you know, thought that FBI was a great AD carry, and him and Rogue synergize incredibly well, especially during that gauntlet run. We always look towards them, especially in their match against AV's Blinky and Jake. This top lane Pabu takes half his health and damage from one combo.
Yeah, don't think he cares all that much. He is starting to win out in this 1v1 pretty hard. Has sitting on an extra shop himself. Doppler recalls again. It's going to be a lane swap.
Yeah, so Varus is moving top side of the map. Hysteric. Stupid Suit Galio's swap makes the mid lane classy again.
Classy or classy? I think it's classy.
Classy.
Hysterics. I don't agree. That's all right. You're entitled to your opinion. And Luch is maybe dead here.
He popped his ultimate. Doesn't have Sanguine Pool anymore. That's a knock-up. Juice doesn't get the body bot flash. And Luch will live to fight another day.
Certainly does. And gets double summoner spells out if you do not mind, Fish. So Ignite done down, as well as a flash out of Juice. He's going to look to maybe take over a red buff here. Fire Drake is on the card. So lane swapping away from bottom lane. I mean, they're going to get a big early game advantage from it, but we'll be interested to see if they get any other form of advantage. Oh, you're so slow, Pabu.
For Young mechanical top laner. Didn't hit his buttons really good there.
Certainly did not. I'm not sure about this. See whether they can get anything done here.
Doppler.
Yeah,
that is really curious from Doppler. I think that's a big misplay. Ryma's going to try and make the best out of it. Actually gets a big taunt. Will get one kill. Wants Raid next. Seb taking so many turret shots. They ramp up quite nicely. In the end, it's a 1-for-1 trade. They save turret. I thought that was a bad play.
Yeah, I thought it was a bad play as well, Fish. I was right there with you. I did not know why he went back in and then burn a flash afterwards when he was definitely dead. But baits them for long enough, it means that Ryoma is able to get down there. And Doppler, who we said needs to be able to split push his way to victory this game, on one of the few carries on this team, is very far behind. Now Luch is being 1v1 by Juice. Ooh, Juice.
Wants to turn that around. Almost gets it. One more auto attack would have killed Juice.
Yep. But still, turret falls in the top lane. So Sin able to get
Here's the shark. Rayseeker comes through. Ultimate's out. Gets him. Good snipe from Seb.
Yeah, without boots too, you can't dodge that one anymore. So Seb able to get it. Juice changes directions nicely, but Rek'Sai flies out from underneath the ground. The land shark is able to pick up a kill. And this has been a pretty composed, pretty slow early game. We'll see what the next major objective becomes, because 2 turrets down for Sin means it can potentially go towards a dragon as soon as Juice respawns. But I don't think that Doppler can go with Pabu anymore. They're roughly equal on items, but there's a big level advantage for Pabu.
Yep.
And it looks like he has an easier time shoving out these lanes and being able to actively roam around the map.
Historically, this used to change when Jax got Sustain.
Yep.
From what used to be Gunblade or any equivalent build, but now it's mainly towards Trinity Force Titanic Hydra for more tanky-based stats.
Get the Gunblade in there still. There's no better feeling than shooting people with blades.
No, but he is building towards a Phage, it seems.
Yep.
So he will be behind at this lane for a little bit longer.
Also didn't elect to pick up Boots 2, which is when you're struggling in the 1v1, you generally go towards Boots 2 very early. Tabby does great things, I mean, especially when you're fighting against a further Renekton who's going to look to get, you know, the empowered W's into you early and try and stack that up as quickly as possible. Good trade coming out of FBI. Not really all that worried about Luch, to be honest.
He's playing really well on FBI. Him and Rogue having a great series. But I do like the Sin of open up the map, so taking 2 turrets for none. That's given them a gold lead when they were falling behind.
Yep.
But also allows it so FBI can just sit here pretty with Luch, pull Rosie to the mid lane, and Jax can split push with Galio.
I mean, yeah, this is actually a really nice play. They've been able to get into a 1-3-1 nice and early. Now collapsing on Pabu.
Oh, he just flashes straight on top of FBI. Good call by Pabu, but big knockup coming out by Rogue, as well as the double charm. Cast from Juice doesn't separate the squad. In fact, knocks Abyss back to safety, and they get out of that scot-free.
Yep. A little bit of dangerous pathing coming in from FBI.
Collapse though. Seb trying to dive in behind a turret. Again, big knock-up by a Rogue. Playing this really well. Juice, so he runs into a Braum shield. Raid will rip back the feathers. And Galio wants in amongst it. Not going to flash for this. But Abyss picking their teamfight window is nice. He does, however, give Doppler time to continue farming.
Yeah, exactly right. And all this time, that's the important thing, is Doppler is continue to build up this wave. Pabu went to a force in the mid lane. He will be able to grab that huge creep wave and probably put him back up about 15 CS. But at the same time, Jax has got a timer on this game and will continue to scale up. You can see that also 25 CS lead for the 80 carry means that FBI is certainly more powerful than Raid at this stage of the game. And we kind of saw that in that team fight as well, Fish.
I mean, Doppler's gone back to base, picked up his Ninja Tabby as well as his Phage. He's actually ahead in gold against Pabu.
Yep. So that's a massive deal because Pabu was certainly having the better end of that lane, but that's what 2 turrets does for you early.
So it's small lead mid lane, about 300 gold. Jungle's where the big advantage is for Abyss of about 700 to 800 gold, but bottom lane, it's 1,400 in favor of FBI, who just got a fresh shot. Raid's still sitting with 900 gold in his inventory.
Ooh, I mean, that hurts. That means he's pretty much 2,400 gold down at the moment. Hasn't been able to spend any of his, and it's going to be a fresh shop coming out of FBI, as you mentioned. That has to mean that they go towards Fire Drake. I mean, potentially don't want to group up against the Braum as well as, you know, Rek'Sai, Vladimir. But they have a pretty, you know, they've got the Galio that can come in as well. I just feel like this is too much of a tasty morsel to pass up at this stage of the game.
Raid only has the core fields of Warhammer, so he's 300 gold away from his BF sword even. even then, still, he's up against a Blade of Ruin King by FBI. Much cheaper item, but when you're sitting on components of an Essence Reaver, not that effective into it.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. You can see that Luch has picked up his dash cannon as well. Rockets the mid lane wave. Seb is trying to grab this Herald, but there's on the way pings coming out of the Galio.
Yep.
And if they collapse up, he is actually in big trouble. So they're probably going to have to leave that one alone.
Galio will actually find Xayah and go for a bit of a trade against the AD carry.
Ooh, they're actually ignoring Seb in the pit at the moment.
Doppler, good damage. Raid in some trouble. Actually, not Doppler, Ryoma looking for this one. Instead, Juice will
Everyone
find Rosie.
is coming now.
They're
Seb's
going to look
in the
for this.
pit.
Who's gonna, Rogue wants to steal this one, but Seb gets it. Juice flash over the wall, doesn't get anything
They're
out
going
of
to deny it.
They will deny Rift Herald. So that's 100 gold.
Yeah, he just got 100 gold and got the flash out. See whether Seb goes for anything cheeky, but you can see that it's starting to pulsate, it's starting to time out, and it is going because no one's even close to it. We can just ignore it now. So yeah, that's a nice teamfight victory out of Sin because they get the Fire Drake. And unfortunately for Abyss Esports, they do not get the Rift Herald.
Yeah. Big play from Sin. Almost looks like they're going to get 2 kills off the back of that as well. Luch now looking for FBI. Good use of the ultimate. Will lock down Vladimir. Galio's coming in as well. FBI throws his arrows the wrong way. Doesn't matter.
The Godvi. I like that. The Godvi impersonation. Throws it backwards.
Just sending a message at the moment. FBI does have Blade of Ruin King, so he will heal up quite nicely. Luch, though, popping his ultimate there with a good trade.
I mean, Vlad's also Vlad, so he gets HP back nicely as well. There you go. They race to full health, Fish.
No one wins in this mid lane at the moment. Ryoma's going to head back to the top side of the map. Doppler is still split pushing in the bottom lane. Has a Sheen now. It's actually items up over Pabu.
Yeah, Pabu hasn't shopped in a while, you'd have to think at this stage. And Sin's 1-3-1 is looking pretty good. I mean, the longer this happens, the more that Xayah has to be concerned that, you know, Juves is collapsing. And we're going to see another roller come out of Galio.
Big thing, though, is the gold is getting close to even again. 600 in favor of Sin only, but that's 2 turrets up. If this can make a single play that goes in their favor, and being only 600 gold behind, it's not that difficult to do.
Yep.
Suddenly the game swings completely in their favor, whereas Sin, they're still looking for very small incremental advantages.
Completely agree. And, you know, all that takes is, you know, attacking one side of this 1-3-1, being able to kill them, take out that side turret, or being able to, you know, take a big team fight and being able to push down mid lane, as we saw out of Sin in game number 1. Still a little bit concerned that all the lanes are pushing into Abyss, so it is going to be a little bit difficult to take turrets right now. And we'll see whether they actually can start swinging any of these into their favor, Fish. You can see mid lane sitting on half. And unfortunately for Pabu, he just lost a 1v1 versus Doppler heavily.
He did. Let's see what they can do. I mean, FBI and Rogue are very comfortable to continue sitting in the mid lane.
I would have loved to have seen what happened to Pabu there, because he has no health whatsoever. And Doppler is now hitting his turret. And you can see that Pabu is actually backing away. He's still got the experience lead, but just absolutely got smacked somehow.
Luch using his Ash Cannon forward. Doppler, though, as you mentioned, still split pushing, doing absolutely fine. Has a single crafting potion left. With that
so
Sheen, will do more
Pabu
damage.
was sitting on a lot of gold. It's important to note. He's gone back from a fade and just picked up a completed Black Cleaver. So maybe a little bit of greed. Wanted to go back on the perfect shop. Did not want components. And Boots 2 is a massive deal in these 1v1 plays. You can see that Doppler gets a huge amount of damage done on that top lane turret, as well as being within 8 CS now. And they continue to chip away at mid.
Yep. FBI still trying to take this turret down. Luch doing what he can to defend this, but crucially, it's brought Seb and Rosie over to the map, so it's isolated the split pushes. Xayah against Galio, which could be good for Raid. We'll be able to farm up nice and easy. The main difference is this Jax against Renekton matchup with the bottom lane. Slowly, though, Abyss are repelling this push further forward, making sure they can't get any damage onto this mid lane outer turret.
Yeah, and we need to see what the next play is. 1:50 until Dragon. You would have to think that that becomes a big priority, especially if it's another Fire Drake. Didn't actually see what it was on the counter. And at the same time, I mean, the split push, even though Jax is still a little bit behind, as soon as he gets that Trinity Force Fish, he's going to start pushing up in that lane very aggressively. And he must be close.
Raid's now joined the mid lane, which means they send Luch up towards top side of map. Raid still
That's
sitting on components
strange,
of Essence Reaver.
Because Raid was actually doing fine against Ryoma.
Yeah.
Was getting shoved in, but that was okay. And Luch certainly has better wave clear. Potentially they like to see if they could fight now.
So Essence Reaver should be complete by Raid soon. He wanted to go back to base there. This is dangerous. Not having Vladimir here and a
Turret's
component Xayah. Difficult fight for Abyss, but they might try and take it still.
Rosie
FBI
gonna
steps
look
up.
to maybe. Oh,
That's ultimate use
Yeah.
by FBI. Door gets thrown up before Juice can chunk out his ultimate. And they're looking to try and collapse here. Juice takes 4 turret shots. Not great.
yeah.
That turret is going to fall though, I
Juice
believe.
didn't need to take that many turret shots, but the mission was pretty much done. Juice throws out the cast, knocks them backwards. Unless they get a one team fight here, there is no way that that turret lives.
Ooh, Harbour jumping in. Pops the Dominus. FBI will take a lot of damage.
Nothing else came out though.
Yeah, well-
Pabu was in there, got onto FBI, and you know, no follow-up out of Rosie or Raid to be able to get that fight going.
Okay, I'm not quite sure what Power was threatening to do there, but Trinity Force is now complete by Dockler.
I mean, Dockler's massive. The side waves have not been close to River in a very long time. And this mid lane turret is always being accessed by Sin Gaming, first and foremost. And the split push doesn't get better for their team. Luch eventually will be able to potentially chase down a member, especially given the fact that Ryoma is all armor.
I would love to see the gold again, because that's the 3rd solo turret that FBI has picked up. He's 20 CS
massive.
ahead of Raid as well. He's got 2 items to the 1.
But off the back end of recall, they will be able to pick up a Dragonfish, so certainly Abyss trading okay in that situation.
Dockler was spotted out.
In saying that, if you don't get near turrets, then Mountain Drake really doesn't do all that much for you, and they haven't been near turrets lately.
Baron's going to spawn in 40 seconds as well. So now Jackson will start to be contested between these 2 teams.
Jax has jumped onto Rek'Sai, steals away the Scuttle Crab. I was expecting something a little bit more, you know, bops him in the head, but Scuttle Crab, good enough victory.
Dockler against Luch. I feel like that's good for Jax at the moment.
Is it? I reckon Luch is happy with that.
Let's see what happens. I mean, he's getting jumped on. Jax is bopping his head in with his lamp, which will heal up, but still take some damage. Juice loves tanking these turret shots.
Yeah, half of the damage that Juice has taken this game is actually against, you know, the structures.
MVP turrets for Abyss at the moment.
And you can see that FBI does not want to take a step backwards right now. Continuing to fire out. I just don't know where Sin really go. Are they just going to sit in 1-3-1 the whole game? Is there a way that somehow they can get the 3 to sit top lane and, you know, put Galio mid and see if he can help out Dockler in the split push?
Sin would have to be happy. Oh, that's a big fight getting charmed here. Galio will jump in as well. Big damage to Abyss. And they just chain CC the front line as Rose is the first to fall. Pabu is trying to dice his way in. Good damage with the FBI. They kill a carry. And Pabu wants to get back into it. Good cast from Juice will separate the team.
So it's a 1-for-1 trade, but Dockler stays bottom lane whilst Luch rotates over. No teleport means he had to move there first. So they lose out on the turret. Pabu still wants infish.
And this is what I was going to say. Isn't this good for Sin? Because they just want to stay side lanes. As soon as you break up this team composition and remove Pabu or Luch, Abyss's team comp doesn't feel that effective anymore.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't, at least not in the team fight and with Raid so far behind. I mean, if that had been a different Xayah ult, you know, ripping feathers through all that many people, maybe if you have your Zeal item already, then it starts to feel a little bit better. But you're exactly right. If they can keep Luch away, if they can keep him split pushing against Dockler, then you feel like half the job is already done. Now, they must be sitting on a lot of gold. You can see, going to be potentially Bork picked up by Dockler. Or maybe it's going to be the Gunblade. A man can hope. And Luch must be going back soon to pick up, I don't know. What's he going to build out of a Spirit Visage?
Potentially. Rylai's is possible.
Yeah, kind of sucks. Maybe
Or
Haunting
Haunting
Guys.
Guys,
Yeah.
Let's see what he does pick up later on. But, I mean, the bulk build from Dockler, it's not a strange one for Jax. Neither Gunblade nor Bork, but does mean he is going to be a split pusher. He does not want to jump into any of these team fights. If you pick up Titanic Hydra and the resistances afterwards, you're still a very tanky beast with your ultimate. And you have a large AoE stun.
Well, that's a big thing about the Titanic Hydra build, is you're relying heavily on your ultimate to be able to mitigate some damage as well as the Counter-Strike. Of course, Counter-Strike gets rid of 25% of AoE damage as well, which a lot of people kind of overlook a little bit. So it keeps him alive in sticky situations. He's actually freezing up the lane a little bit at this stage of the game. I think he should be aggressively pushing out because of how much fire they can put on this mid lane turret while it's held there.
Pabu is grouping up with his team, so he is denying farm from the Renekton.
It was a Rylai's.
Ah, picked up by Luch.
Luch is a big fan of Rylai's Crystal Scepter. I mean, it makes sense. They're going to be in protracted team fights. Maybe he's going to be split pushing more often than not. Good damage going down onto Pabu there. No ult fired out by FBI.
FBI not afraid of no one at the moment.
certainly is not. You can see that they're controlling this again. They get back into their 1-3-1, and they're starting to set up the waves, and they want to continue to push in. And then next time Luch leaves the lane that Doppler is in, that's going to be a base turret going down. And slow, steady, methodical League of Legends coming out of Sin this game.
Could this be something they learnt from Rift Rivals? Because we saw Gigabyte Marines do this exact same play to Sin. And this was the same lead. They had 4,000 gold of a lead. Sin was still doing fine in fights, but it just slowly dragged the game out, and Sin could not take control again.
Yeah, exactly right. So really sticking their claws into a 1-3-1. No wave clear mid lane. You can see Vladimir top lane, as well as the Rek'Sai up there.
Be careful, Rosie. That's half your health gone, depending one wave.
And that's still no ultimates used as well. I think FBI or Rogue could have probably dashed in there to look to get that one started. Instead, they're just playing very patient League of Legends fish. Excruciatingly patient League of Legends, some would say.
Let's see how it works for them. FBI has been a mid laner for most of this game, really trying to be the god V his team wants him to be. Rosie again, putting up the shield, trying to defend another wave, crashing in, takes more harass. FBI getting very cheeky, stepping up to auto-attack this turret.
I mean, he has the summoner spells available. He also has Rogue that can jump into his rescue if ever something goes wrong. So I think that he's pretty safe playing the way that he's playing right now. He's farming up an absolute storm. He's ahead of the clock at the moment. They're taking away Seb's jungle whenever they can, although Seb still has a big CS advantage as well as a gold lead over Jude.
FBI, though, gets jumped on by Raid. We'll get a good trade in return as Rogue heals him back up. Juice moves in, threatening.
Here comes Vladimir. No.
Will jump away. Thought that he might be in some trouble there. Said they jump onto Vladimir.
Ryoma, what are you doing?
Winter Wall getting good damage on the Raid, and Luch gets stunned up. Not taking too much damage just yet, but will get knocked up as well. Sin try to collapse to help. Big ultimate from Juve.
Separates the rest of the big disengage cask, and they just let Doppler continue to go to work here. He's able to shove Pabu underneath that turret. Pabu, again, is going for an adaptation on the build. Is not building towards the team at the Titanic Hydra. Instead, has defensive components. Rosie behind here. Could be the start of the fight that they're looking for.
Yeah, splash, but no ultimate. Does get behind FBI. Rogue jumps in and just saves the Varus' life. Somehow, though, Seb doesn't die. Instead, it's going to be Juice that's forced to flash away. Finally, Rogue will get that kill off the back of its Ignite, but the feathers have been thrown out. Ray's looking to rip them back. Doesn't get anything out of it.
I mean, once again, they call Pabu over, and Doppler is just sitting at home. He's dead. Yeah.
Rosie should die for that as well. FBI getting good kites out. Big taunt by Ryoma. That's going to be 2 kills there. Meanwhile, Doppler's had a field day with this turret and is now slapping away at this Renekton. Will flash out. Luch is trying to chase on further forward. Leap strikes to a mid and he's A-okay.
I mean, fantastic flash away. He's already done his job. He draws 2 members down into that bottom lane. Going to be able to pick up potentially another Fire Drake for his team as well. And you mentioned it. I mean, this is just excruciating macro play. Abyss want to be able to, take the fight that they're looking for, but they're just getting dragged all over the map every time they think they have a proactive play. Doppler takes something away from them. And now it means that they're not even really winning these teamfight exchanges, Fish. And FBI has just gone back and bought an outright Infinity Edge.
And that's with 2 Infernal Dragons stacked up for Sin already. So Varus, Galio even, Gragas and Jax going to hit hard. Now they're trying to lock down Luch here. They have to use Sanguine Pool. Finally pops with just under 200 health remaining. Seb, though, flashes into a wall on top of that. Teleports are coming in from Pabu. Doppler doesn't care about anyone. He's still just walking down bottom lane.
Doppler should have taken Exhaust this game. He is legitimately not using Teleport at all. If you're going to split push to this extent, just take the Exhaust, Fish, because he is at home right now.
Too bad Revive's been taken out. Just Revive, Teleport, Jax. That's all you need.
Get back into your lane quicker. You can see that Pabu still cannot go to the side lane to answer, is actually shoving out mid. He's gone for the Gargoyle Stone Plate nice and early before the second offensive item. Feels like he needs to have an impact in these team fights.
Let's see if he can. Pabu, he's been playing the game all right, just been outscaled in Abyss. Gets to use their other avenues of attack.
I mean, this is going to be the best 0-1-1 carry of all time.
They're trying to force a fight here. Rosie taking so much damage for it. Again, Rogue in the back lines with a big taunt knockup. FBI gets that first kill, but Pabu will delete him from this team fight. A lot of damage from Sin is taken away when they lose the 80 carry. But look at Jaximus. I don't care about this team fight anymore. Jax is hitting a bloody inhibitor, and Abyss still want to go for this damn fight.
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, Jax just sits there and is going to continue to wail. Like, do you start up the Baron? What is the actual call here? Because otherwise, Jax is going to take your whole base. And
Careful,
actually
Luch.
fancies his fight against Luch.
Stop it! This is not fair. The rest of Abyss are looking for Baron. That's
Now
not a Baron.
the
There's a
teleport
Baron.
comes in.
Now he's going for it. Luch doesn't have teleport to follow through. Rogue doesn't get a knock up this time, but will jump out. Ryoma with a taunt, lands on towards Pabu. Doppler will dash out to kick things off.
Juves is
Juves
coming
in the back lines. Body bot doesn't connect. A bit poor from him, but knocks two of them back in. Raid's going to fall. Immediately afterwards, it's going to be Pabu. They could probably turn towards a Baron or a play after this.
Yeah, they certainly could. I mean, oh, big ultimate.
Yeah, but Luch, will he fall before it gets popped? No, we'll get the health back. Doppler jumps on in, trying to wail away, but will fall to Seb. The rest of Sin incredibly low. There's the winner's bite. One more attack. Just hit him and he'll get stunned. There you go, boys. But FBI, the 90 shiny armor for Sin has returned to the fight. It's been so long that the 80 carries revived. He's come back in. They're not done yet. Rosie, the door's meant to go that way, not to your right. Stepio will just kill you.
Yeah, and in the end, I think that Sin win that exchange. They're able to pick up the inhibitor. They could potentially swing towards the Baron if they want. They don't want to. Everyone's just going back to base. And this game has devolved very rapidly. Abyss is starting to get frustrated with Doppler. And I don't really blame them, Fish, because he's a bloody annoying Jax. Does fall down finally. Best 0-2-2 Jax ever.
And I'm actually pretty excited about Doppler this series so far. He had a good game one. Game two, not exactly his fault. He still held his own. This game has been fantastic to watch. He's playing his job perfectly, and here's that last fight.
Yeah, exactly right. So you see Rogue goes in, good zoning knock up there, gets himself back out. And good cast from Juves. He misses the body slam, but this is pretty special here. Able to knock two people back and blow up Raid straight away. Unfortunately, they just didn't have the damage to kill Pabu, and he kind of baited them in for the longest time. And then, of course, you know, when you fall that low, I don't blame the man for going for the kill. But he probably should have known that the heal was going to come out of the Vladimir eventually. I think we can fast forward a little bit here and play some yakety sack. And they kill the Braum as well, Fish.
Yeah, I get set on the back end again. Died at the start of the fight, comes back to clean it up.
Yeah, I'm confused as to what's happening as well. But at the same time...
Why is Doppler still bottom lane?
Yeah, I mean, just win the game. I don't know why you're confused about this. He's hitting the Nexus turrets, and there's absolutely nothing Pabu can do to stop him.
This reminds me of the old cinematic that we
Look
had.
at this. He's dragging two waves as well. This is the old school Singed play. And as long as they can get Baron off the back end of this.
Doppler in some trouble.
Yeah,
no, he's not. he's out.
Yeah, so he's gone. He's real quick. Had that Grandmaster's Might running there. We'll be able to heal back up on the wave as well. Level 16 accomplished, and they're actually doing the Baron, and there's no way that Pabu can get there. I love this. Getting both the lanes going at the same time, Fish.
It's disgusting. Meanwhile, Sin looking for a fight against Biss just beyond the Baron. Seb taking too much damage. Will go over the wall, but Juves just throws a big old barrel at his face.
And they've sent back Raid already. And still somehow the 2v1 was going okay. They will pick up Doppler, but Raid
eventually
as well. They had to flash. He's dead.
What? Ryoma's killed him. He's going to go for two. He's on top of Pabu. That's a big old crocodile. They might get taken down by Galio. Oh, just slices over the wall in time. Baron is being taken by the rest of Sin. Teleport is coming in from Ryoma just in case. Rose is trying to join this fight. Puts an Ignite on FBI.
Oh.
Not quite sure why. Rosie will fall. Throws down the ultimate. Stand behind Braum. Doesn't work in this case. And Sin just turned towards Baron. This game has devolved into something, what was a great macro game. It's just been...
Yeah, the last couple of minutes has just been a slogfest. Back and forth, teams trying to exchange blows. No one can go with Jackson. Imagine if he had a real weapon, Fish. But teleport coming in again.
Oh, they're still going. Pabu, he's not happy. Charges into the team. Luch gets taunted up, gets some good damage down, pops into Sanguine Pool and heals up quite nicely, but they turn straight towards Pabu. This was a valiant 2-on-4, but they just don't stop.
They certainly don't. They're just going to continue to try and stop this Baron. This time it's successfully disengaged. Fire Drake has respawned one more time, just in case Sin want to go pick up a third for themselves. Final Elemental Drake of the game.
I think Juve said it best. Sin are a scrappy team to begin with.
Yeah,
don't bring the scrap to
scrappy to them.
Doppler, meanwhile, is going to happily pick up the third Infernal Dragon for Sin in this match. Super Minions are charging on towards the inhibitor turret that has just respawned. The first Nexus turret is in shambles already. My goodness.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is right now. They need a 5v5 team fight, but they're just not going to be able to get it with Dockler continually going back towards this bottom lane. They need to send multiple members to stop him, and that just isn't viable when Pabu hasn't, got the teleport available.
They've got so many people on the bottom lane. Rosie's going to find a wild Jax, throws out the Winter's Bite, doesn't connect. Even put a ward down to try and stop him.
Well, no, he just wants to know when he retreats and when he's actually continuing to pressure the turret. So that's a good ward out of Rosie. You can see Dockler actually runs away. Probably wants the Baron play right now more than anything.
Sin being very patient with it, not rushing for anything, but triple Infernal means they're
I don't know if this... I think this patience is a little bit misplaced. There's no way that Abyss have been anywhere near this Baron. I think Sin could have definitely started up, especially with Jax in Fog of War. And now they're going to look to two-man it fit.
Yeah, let's see if they can. They just use their scrying ob, so one more left for Xayah, but not quite sure if he's doing it just yet. Already at half health. They'll peel off again. It's a very big Rakan with the elixir
of iron. Yeah. And Dockler is once again in the base. So he's going to take down the inhibitor again, and they're going to send 2 people towards him. 3 people, actually. Rosie's going as well. That should be the cue to start up the Baron.
Yeah, I mean,
fingers crossed.
What I was going to say is this game reminds me...
This is solo queue. This is when you have a Tryndamere on the enemy team.
Jax is being doped by 3 people while Baron's been set up. He's going to die here, but Baron should be picked up. Seb's going to look for a miracle steal.
Flash out of Luch still.
Seb's going to look for a steal here. Let's see if he can get it. It's level 14 to 14, so it's a 50-50 he can get in there, but they're throwing everything at him. And the kitchen sink. He jumps in. Juice, he's able to outsmite Levi. You're not going to be able to outsmite him, Seb. He's going to fall after that as well. FBI goes on a killing spree.
Yeah, and I just honestly, at the moment, that is a pure look of frustration out of the jungler of Abyss Esports, because he's like, I don't know how we stop the Jax. Now all of a sudden, Baron is going across. Triple Infernal Drake. FBI has 4 items in 7, 2, and 3. Is really the unsung hero of this game. The 0-4-3 Jax that is just relentlessly split pushing. Is the completely opposite of that. But at the same time, it looks like they're going to be able to just march this one in and win the game.
Yeah, we released a cinematic starring Ahri and Leona, who had like a big 5-on-5, and the main enemy was Darius. At the end of that, Darius falls, and they look into the horizon of the opponent's Nexus. I think 1 week after we released it, someone dubbed it and just had the exact same video, but at the end, Jax is hitting the Nexus afterwards. Yeah, this is that game.
It certainly is that game.
Eventually, there's going to be a big 5-on-5 fight somewhere. 5-on-4
5-on-4
fight.
Yeah, there
somewhere
is
in the mid
no
lane.
way Jax is joining that fight at all.
And we're going to have an 0-4-3 Jax finish the game and put C on his back.
He's gone back into the bottom lane as well.
I think
doesn't have Baron buff, so he's going to have to manually corral the creeps in fish.
Pabu, though, he's picked up his Spirit Visage, so he's quite a tanky.
He's a massive tank. If he, gets into the back line, it's going to take a while to kill him. Although, at the moment, FBI is actually quite heavily stacked in the damage front.
He's got 5 items with his boots. So Dark Seal, nicely stacked to Ryoma. He's 3 on A's. This game has shown me that Ryoma is not just a flashy mage play. He can pick up a tank and do absolutely fine as well.
Yeah, it certainly can. See whether, they're able to close this game out cleanly, because that's what it will come down to. You can see Dockler still in the base. He's still fighting Pabu. He's still being an absolute nuisance, and they're going to try and push in and actually help him out now.
Yeah, they actually put on the ultimate for Pabu. Meanwhile, there's a fight going up here. Seb just gets popped. They lose the inhibitor, and Luch tries to get into the back lines. Pops the Sanguine Pool, but will fall to FBI. Double kill picked up by the Varus. Pabu trying to get into the back lines. Dicing on top of them. But look at the Jax! Jax is hitting the bloody Nexus! This fight is irrelevant! It finished exactly how you and I predicted it, Spawn! Dockler doesn't even want to finish this game!
It's a pentakill. It's a pentakill. He does not want to get it.
It's going to be the pentakill. Raid, Woolly fall. He dies to Ryoma, stolen away by the scumbag mid laner. And Dockler, after everyone dies, will finally destroy the Nexus, just as we scripted it.
And Tommy stole the pentakill. I cannot believe it. I mean, FBI was screaming at Dockler, stop hitting the damn Nexus. This is my pentakill. And then Ryoma swoops in, as Galio is what to do, and just takes it for himself. But what a game out of Sin. They were patient. They really dragged them apart there, Abyss, and there was just no answer for that Jax split pushing himself to victory.
Sin eventually pick up the 2-1, but I mean, games 1 and 3 really shows what they've been able to learn from Rift Rivals. Abyss, though, it was
so close.
A cheeky game too, but 1 and 3, lackluster performance of them almost.
Yeah, it certainly were. I mean, especially game 3, they got stuck in a 1-3-1 for so long. and had absolutely no answers towards it. There was no double TP to attack the Jackson, be able to TP to the team fight. They couldn't send a Vlad against him. They couldn't send the Renekton against him. In the end, there was just, they ran out of every answer. And they were sending 2-3 members back there. And that's how you lose games.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't even necessarily clean macro in the end. We said it. Sin would go towards the Baron. They would fight. Then they would just keep fighting instead of turning onto the objective. But at the same time, there was no real danger of losing it because Dockler was just so farmed and could continue to push in.
And I mean, it was a really big early turret take by FBI as well as Rogue and Juice. They showed their prowess in the bottom lane every single game. Despite the outcome, they came out ahead in the bottom lane. But for me, that game, Abyss, they were even in gold.
Yep.
3 turrets down. And they were just giving up turrets for free. I feel like they could have done a lot more. But to, break that game down a little bit further and tell us if Abyss could have done a lot more, let's send it back to Himiko Hing and the rest of the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Fish and Spawn. And Sin, able to play a patient game this time and take the series 2-1. And yeah, I mean, also your boy Juves didn't feed, which is nice. And I think that's what we said. I mean, look, you wanted him to.
I mean, he was. It was pretty. The way he died was pretty unfortunate.
Yeah.
But the fact that Sin was 5-0 up and he was 0-1-0, that broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah, but then he picked up a kill.
I
I
just
think,
get involved.
A
He
couple
had
of assists.
some very nice ults toward the
Very
end of the
good.
game. So I think that was a better. It was a better game. out of him.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
good improvement.
That Penta though.
Oh yes,
Tommy.
that is a reportable offence. I'm not sure whether the viewers at home are aware of that, but that is absolutely a
I saw
reportable
him at the end
offence.
of the game, and he knew.
Yeah,
he knew straight up.
yeah. That was not nice.
All right, well, let's take a look at this first replay, Choo-Choos, because as we bring it up on your screen.
Yeah, so this is where they're sieging tier 2 mid, and Braum actually has a great flank, but I just want to praise Rogue's Rakan again for being able to save FBI, CCing the entire front line, and they end up turning this around with a nice taunt, and they end up going back in here. I think Rogue flashed Ws, and they ended up getting a 3-for-0. 2-for-0, 2-for-0. No, 3-for-0. 3-for-0. And this really propels FBI forward. FBI gets 2 kills off that, but that's really the thing that they really needed. They got their main carry threat, 2 kills, and that propelled them forward.
I think Rogue actually died in that one, so it was almost even
3-for-1.
Yeah, so I think he even he gave his life.
Gave his life for the team. Did the right thing.
What
I
a
like
team
players who do that.
champion.
I like players who do that. I
love
hate
Rogue.
players who are afraid to die. Piss me off.
Well, you've but you've been talking about Rogue all night. You're saying you're a fan of him. You watched him in Vietnam, and you think he's maybe a player to watch for the future.
He definitely didn't really impress me in the past. When I was playing, I was like, okay, this guy's free money. He played Zyro, and I'd one-shot him as a mage. But now, especially after the Gauntlet run last split and going into Vietnam and this split, he's just continually impressed
I reckon
me.
he's a playmaker. I really like players who are playmakers. I don't like
Thresh, Rakan.
like people you can have your flaws. Like you might get caught out of position. You might ward in bad spots or whatever. But if you're a playmaker, I think that's the most important attribute to have. And then the rest of the stuff can be taught or you can improve on. And so I think for him that's something he's really come into this split. I think he had another really good game there.
Well,
and just a good performance by Sin overall.
Yeah, Rogue has been on Sin for a while, but standing by with Jake Spontabia right now is the heart and soul of that team. It's Juves. Let's throw it over to them now for the interview.
Thanks so much, Hingers. I am standing next to the jungler that outsmarted Levi. How you going, Juves? Good victory there.
Yeah, that was a good victory. I'm happy. I would have liked the 2-0 because I think we're playing really well at the moment. Evident in our 2 games. I think they were relatively clean. It was obviously a bit of a hiccup. I'll cop it on the chin for game 2. I'm not feeling too good, but I'm proud of the boys. They played really well.
All right, now talk to me about Rift Rivals quickly before we dive into this game. How was it to take, Rogue, who's a pretty young guy, FBI, Ryoma, Dockler, rookie as well, and be able to captain a team internationally for OS? What did that feel like?
Well, it was like a dream come true, right? Every player that plays the game wants to play internationally. You watch Twitch streams and you're like, man, I wish I could play at Worlds or MSI. I guess this one's probably a little step down from Worlds, but it's still, nonetheless, it's still an international tournament. And me and Rogue, we were sitting in the hotel room and we were like, how funny is this? 1 year ago, we were in relegations. We were playing in relegation. So it's just been a really good journey with me, Rogue, Bensel, and we put in a lot of hard work. And I guess it was really good that it paid off.
All right, now talk to me about this series because, game 1 and 2, back and forth slugfest. But game 3, a little bit of a different game plan, a little bit of macro 1-3-1 going on there, a little bit of Gigabyte Marines, Fish said during the broadcast, trying to pull your opponents around the map.
Well, I mean, I don't think we're like we've had the reputation in the past as like a one-trick team, like we have a certain play style. But I think it's like really evident today, and especially after Rift Rivals, we're a lot smarter about the game now, and we know like I guess we just learned a lot over there. It's like hard to put the value on something like that, but it's just huge. So I'm really happy with the result, and I can't wait for next week.
All right, cool. And you guys said that you're playing well at the moment. Rift Rivals gave you that taste of international, and you know it's a mini Worlds, but not quite Worlds. You pick up the win this week, going into Super Week. Sin's always been good in that territory.
Yes.
Is this finally the season? Is this the season that Juice goes to Worlds?
Look, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say yes. All I'm going to do is get on the back of my bot lane. Get on the back of my bot lane, and maybe they'll take me to Worlds. We'll see.
All right, congratulations on the win today, mate. Let's throw it back to Hingers at the desk to close out the night.
What a captain. What a captain. What a captain.
Great
He's able
answer.
to, he's like, look, I'll cop it on Chef for game 2, and I just want my bot lane to carry me to Worlds.
Hey, if
If
anyone was willing to carry me to Worlds, sign me up. I don't have to be a star.
Free ride, why not?
Yeah. Take me along. I'll be a sub.
All right, well, let's talk then a little bit more about this game, because as Juice was saying, they're playing a little bit of a different style for Sin, and I want to talk to you about Dockler, because we've spoken a lot about him tonight, but this split push from him was very, very effective.
Yeah, I mean, at this point of the game, it was pretty tough. Like, Abyss were in a pretty tough spot already, but, like, if you watch the bottom left corner of the screen, like, you can just see Dockler's putting so much pressure on. And Sin just kept dancing this Baron back and forth, forcing them to commit to either one or the other. He actually almost gets the kill on Vlad here. He's very stiff not to get it, but Sin end up taking the Baron after killing like the enemy like 40 times trying to contest.
This is kind of what fourth Baron attempt.
Yeah. And they can't. I mean, Seb did get in the pit here, which is a little bit scary, but good smite by Sin, and this is what finally breaks the game open. You know, they were accruing a lead, but they hadn't really closed it out until this moment.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see that 131 is something they've been practicing, and we can see
more power
here.
to him.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, I mean, if you can outsmite Levi, potentially you can outsmite Seb.
I mean,
it was scary. Like
that's still like
he died outsmiting. Can I just rant for a little? Outsmiting someone is such a stupid thing. Like there's so little skill involved. Like the thing gets low and you're like, oh yeah, it seems about the right time. Like press, like you know what I mean. Like okay, yeah, you can combo with ability, or you can combo with a teammate, or like yeah, it's like oh well, the jungler stole it, so maybe your team should have like focused more on getting him. But at the end of the day, if he's in the pit with you, you both just press F at what you think is the right time, and one of you wins. Like it's not like.
I don't know if that's what like Bengi or like like Ambition will like.
No,
if
I've spoken to them and that's what they told me. I'm on a personal.
All right, I'm solid.
I got the email.
Right, Tim.
I got Bengi's phone number. I got him on speed dial. I only asked him that question.
Oi, Bengi.
I rang him. I said, "Oi, Bengi, I've only got one question for you. Don't ask how I got your number. I got one question. Is smiting skill? No, it's not."
He's just like, "Hey, who is this? Can you stop calling me?"
I speak a little bit of Korean, enough to know that he said that smiting's not a skill.
All right. Well, rant aside, this is what Juice is saying, right? Dockler had big shoes to fill coming in for Flares, and
nearly 50K.
But it's all
Phoebe popped off.
The FBI show.
I mean, he did play pretty well. There was one moment in like the mid-late game
where
like, well, yeah, there was that, but also like Renekton kind of showed mid, and he just like autoed
Yeah,
Renekton like twice
twice
with an E,
Yeah.
and Renekton lost like 3/4 of his health, and I was like, oh, that stings.
Yeah,
that stings.
after he got his first 2 kills, he backed, got 3 items, finally had the Infinity Edge, and then you could definitely see that Varus was online.
Bring the pain.
Ooh. So
Bring the pain.
this is here's a question for you. Excluding your own bot lane, is Sin's bot lane the best bot lane in Ice right now?
Maybe Aaron should answer because he's on a team.
Top 3.
Top 3.
Maybe.
All right. Well,
I put them top 2 actually.
the Direwolves, Chiefs, and us, and Sin. Like,
Yeah,
and so
you can.
how would you do it?
Oh.
Like, how would you do it? What would you say?
Oh, okay. Top one would of course be my boys' Legacy, Andy, and
This is so biased.
No bias.
Andy and Lawrence.
No bias.
And then I would say FBI Rogue, and then probably King and
Destiny.
Ejim.
Oh, right.
King and
King,
Ejim.
King and Destiny.
Oh,
my
King
goodness.
and,
They would- you know,
King
they
and
would be
Destiny,
good. Yeah.
and then probably Chiefs.
Interesting.
All right, power rankings.
Interesting.
All right, and if we take Legacy out of that, because that's obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
I've watched
so
them
you would
for a
say
while.
so? Do you say they were actually number 1? then.
No, he said number 2.
I said number
but we
2.
were number 1.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you take us
them
out for
I'd say
bias,
the number 1.
you
I'd say
actually
the number 1.
Damn,
I've seen them lane against against Destiny King and Ejim and Raze, and
you think they?
I can safely say that.
Okay.
All right. Well, there we have it.
There you
Feel
go.
free to tweet at Choo-Choos if you have
Blame
to.
him.
Yeah, disagree with his opinion. But let's take a look at the
Blame him.
results
Go
from
for it.
today, shall we? After Legacy beat Regicide and Dials beat AV yesterday, TM went down to Chiefs and Sin 2-1 over Abyss, which means things are heating up on the table. Chiefs equal points now with Direwolves, but Direwolves have the head-to-head over them. And yeah, Legacy sit currently in third.
It's a close
Only
split.
1 point behind. Avant there rounding out the top
Looks so
4.
weird.
Sin
4-0
in
though.
5th.
Yeah, but it
And,
just like looks so weird, right?
Abyss,
Like,
TM, and Regicide.
that you can have like the same. You know what I mean? Like
Same
Chiefs
points.
have a loss and it looks so ugly compared to like Direwolves.
Yeah, well, just
Yeah, well, you would
just
say that, wouldn't
2-0,
you?
man.
no, I'm not. I didn't even say us. Okay, I'm just saying that compared to Direwolves, they're like the same points as a team.
Team,
that
who are you versing next week?
Chiefs.
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 Just win.
Okay.
That's what you got to do. Speaking
Planning on
of,
it anyway,
let's
you don't have to
take
say so.
a look at the schedule for next week because we're going to start things off as Super Week on Friday at 5 p.m. Sin will take on Direwolves, and then it's El Clasico PL. Chiefs versus Legacy kicking off sometime
Bring it
around 7 or 8
on.
o'clock. And you're saying bring it on.
I love playing Chiefs. Actually, I really enjoy
Historically,
it.
Probably
It's
the
just
biggest
like
rivalry.
yeah,
Alright.
it's like yeah, it's just lots of fun.
Saturday, we'll see Abyss take on AV. Regicide will try to take a game or 2 off Sin. Regicide then will back up on Sunday, taking on TM. That's a spicy game. And Legacy versus Abyss. So you got to play twice in the weekend across the Super Week.
Yep.
And give us a quick. I mean, we were just talking about it then. You love to play the Chiefs. You
Hands on ice.
you love it. Yeah. Oh, you want to
In between games.
In between
just
the games,
Avoid for the recovery.
go
No,
get
no,
a
sorry, go
massage, a
on.
hand massage. No, you're saying you love to play the Chiefs. So give us a quick preview of next week. I mean, both teams looking in fine form after the last couple of weeks.
Quick 20.
Quick 20.
Quick 20. Yeah.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah. Well, as an unbiased member of the broadcast team, Choo-Choos, what's your
I don't
opinion
know.
on
They
that?
both look pretty good.
Yeah.
Um,
It's going to be spicy.
I think
No, it'll be a good match. It'll be a good match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be 3 games. I'd like to see 3 games, but then again, yeah, it'll be a great match.
All right.
They're a
Well,
good team.
I can tell you now that I'll be away next week, unfortunately. So Spawn will be sitting in the host desk in the hot seat, returning to his Iron Throne, as it were. But from all of us here at Riot and the OPL, we'd like to thank you for watching. We'll see some highlights, and we see you next Friday.
Ticking. Ray's going to flash forward. Low's going to go down, and Egypt picks up that kill. The Swiper hugging the wall, which means that final proc's not going to go down, but is it enough? He hops away. Praetor flashes forward. It's going to get that second proc. Looks for the finals, and again, he's outplayed Swiper. Knocks Ray's back. He's already used his QSS, and Praetor's on top of the AD carry. Look at the other side of the fight, though. Big taunts coming out from Galio, now jumping towards the side of his AD carry. Ray's somehow able to outduel the duelist herself. Tiga's now running for the hills, and TM retreat away from this team fight. Swiffer taking up all by himself. Praetor got a kill on the Swiffer. So that means, Spruce, that means it's going to be a 4 on 5, and the Chiefs help Master lows. But look at Raze. He's hopping into the back lines already. He's already got 1 kill. QSS is out on the hook. Tiga's now in trouble. So many spears connecting, and their AD carry is being punted around by an Alistar. Galio jumps on in. Raze goes dominating. Nah jumps into the fight, and that's going to be game 1 going to the Chiefs. It's good hook, playing back, hits the turret. Low get 1. He kinda gets healed. Will he fall? He does to the turret. Low can look for the Super Mario jumps. Joe's for the first one. Gets Spooks, tries to jump in. He's gonna fall. Prayed himself here as well, being chased by a snake. He pops the ultimate. He gets angry, knocks him down for a stun. Swiffer turns around for more kills. He's gonna flag drag. Flash Swiffer follows, grounds low. Twin fang after fang after fang, and double kill picked up by the snake. Praetor jumps on in, picks up a kill on the Tiga. He'll fall shortly after, but the snake lady as well as the sticks are being thrown to the TM. Only their mid laner left up. Swiffer, meanwhile, gets a solo kill against Praetor. He wants more. He wants Shock and Tiga. Going for Shock first. Only's gonna come through. We'll get a double kill to Tiga. Pops the Saracen Raze for a big shield. Only's trying to fight back, but look at the stasis. Look at all the healing from the Twin Fangs. Chiefs are just stonewalling through TM. There's nothing they can do. It looks so sloppy, I can't even keep up with this team fight. But all I know, that's a quadruple picked up by Raze. He's marching towards the Nexus, and the Chiefs are going to be able to take down TM. Flashes very early and pops the cleanse without a cocoon being thrown his way. First blood picked up by Seb. And pops the cleanse, jumps straight back on top of him. Tommy goes huge, gets a kill against Seb. My goodness, this man's a beast. That's a big engage. Rogue just jumps straight on in, and that's 2 people from Abyss just absolutely destroyed. They're still charging forward with Riftail. This is going to be a big play coming out of Sin. FBI was the bait right there. Hook onto Harold, doesn't matter. He's already done his job. They're charging towards the inhibitor. They literally just ran it down mid. Sin with a huge play off the back of a Riftail. That was unbelievable. Which Pabu jumps in with his own gargoyles, but he's going to get taken down immediately. Big knock-up coming out from the support of Sin. Rogue goes massive, and they lock down Raid as well. FBI gets that kill. The flag drags in, looking for Cataclysm. He gets instantly crowd controlled by everyone else and deleted. Rhymer gets that kill. He flashes forward. He's on top of Luch. He's gone. That's the hopes and dreams of Abyss being crushed. Sin are so strong in game number 1. They're marching towards the Nexus. Yeah, they've caught out Tommy, but that's just a consolation prize at this point. The Abyss team can't just quite defend against Sin, and eventually they'll be able to pick up game 1 in this series. Jumps on top of him, but he's tanking turret. He has to back off. Can't quite come back in. Juves might fall here. The Shuriken hits, and First Blood's picked up by Pabu.
And that is
now
great cast.
Knocks FBI into the team. He doesn't flash early. Gets caught by the Jhin. Double kill picked up by Luch. And now Juves in trouble. He gets tagged. Everyone's flashing towards this point. Instead, they turn towards Pabu, who has no ultimate. Galio with a big knock-up and big body bottom followed by Seb. They kill Pabu. They lose their support, but Galio falls next. Now, 3 on 4 coming out from the Abyss lineup. Double kill picked up by Raid. Look at Doppler's teleport. It's going to get cancelled by the cannon. And Rogue jumps into the fight. He gets called out by FBI, but he's taking a lot of damage. And Pabu in the back lines. Good flank from this cannon. Luch gets the first kill. 1 by 1, the Sin Gaming members fall. Sin, though, looking for a forced fight. They jump straight on top of Luch, who gets a massive gravity field. Dropping the base as well. Double kill picked up. Raid chasing on forward too. Only FBI left alive. And 1 auto attack for Raid. That's half your health gone. Curtain call to finish things off in style. And that's game over, ladies and gentlemen. And that's a statement if I've ever seen one by Abyss. Bouncing back to in game number 2. And they will be able to take us to game number 3 against Sin. This is turning out to be a great series. That is really curious from Doppler. I think that's a big miss play. Rhymer's going to try and make the best out of it. Actually gets a big taunt. We'll get 1 kill. Once Raid next. Seb taking so many turret shots. They ramp up quite nicely. Galio will jump in as well. Big damage to Abyss. And they just chain CC the front line as Rose is the first to fall. Pabu's trying to dice his way in. Good damage on the FBI. They kill a carry. And Pabu wants to get back into it. Good cast from Juves. Rogue jumps in and just saves the Barrister's life. Somehow, though, Seb doesn't die. Instead, it's going to be Juves that's forced to flash away. Finally, Rogue will get that kill off the back of its Ignite, but the feathers have been thrown out. Raid's looking to rip them back. Doesn't get anything out of it.
Oh, big ultimate.
Yeah, but Luch, will he fall before it gets popped? No, we'll get the health back. Doppler jumps on in, trying to wail away, but will fall to Seb. The rest of Sin incredibly low. There's the winner's bite. 1 more attack. Just hit him and he'll get stunned. There you go, boys. Seb just gets popped. They lose the inhibitor, and Luch tries to get into the back lines. Pops the Sanguine pull, but will fall to FBI. Double kill picked up by the Varus. Pabu trying to get into the back lines. Dicing on top of them. But look at the Jax! Jax is hitting the bloody Nexus! This fight is irrelevant! It finished exactly how you and I predicted it, Spawn! Doppler doesn't even want to finish this game!
It's a pentakill, it's a pentakill, he does
it's
not want
going
to
to
get
be the pentakill. Raid, will he fall? He dies to Roma, stolen away by the scumbag mid laner, and Doppler, after everyone dies, will finally destroy the Nexus, just as we scripted it.